Thank you, Presiding Officer. I should probably start with a confession. And perhaps it's because of a long summer recess. I decided not to prepare any extensive speaking notes because I was expecting this afternoon to hear a raft of ideas and initiatives and policies from the opposition party, which would present an opportunity for engagement and dynamic debate. But alas, all we have heard is a tired dirge, the plaintive cries of SNP bad. Now, I think perhaps what's been missing to some extent so far in this debate is just a modicum of context. We live in really quite extraordinary times. We have a situation where the director of the CIA in the United States is describing the US President's actions as treacherous. We have an expansive and growing China seeking to establish a new authoritarian world order. In Italy, we have the upper house of the Parliament taking away compulsory vaccinations for children. And in the UK, we have seen a Conservative Party engulfed over the summer, attempting to define what it means by Brexit, to the extent where the deputy leader of the party has taken to social media to beg SNP MPs to block Mr Johnson and Mr Rees-Mogg. And the Labour Party has spent the summer trying to work out what the definition of anti-Semitism is. So given that turmoil of both these parties in that particular context, I think the expression tired or managerial is actually a bit of a compliment, because what it actually means in practice is mature, serious, grown-up government that is actually focused on delivering for the people of Scotland, not squabbling amongst themselves. Now, I have to say, this is a substantive and an impressive and an important programme for government. And I want to start by congratulating the government on their commitment to expanding investment in infrastructure. £1.5 billion per annum higher by 25-26. That is a really substantial achievement. And it's necessary because we have come a long way in the last 11 years. When this government was first elected to this Parliament, there was no complete M8, there was no complete M80, there was no complete M74, there was no Queensferry Crossing, there was no AWPR, there was no Queen Elizabeth University Hospital, across a range of areas substantive investment. My colleague, Alistair Allen, spoke about the transformation in digital connectivity over recent years in his constituency. And indeed, across Scotland now, 95% of homes and business premises are connected. That is an outstanding achievement, and I'm delighted that the contracts for R100 are to be imminently awarded. Now, again, there is far more I could talk about. 750 schools refurbished, more than 750 schools refurbished, 76,500 affordable homes built, and a commitment to supply 750 new, extended or refurbished nurseries, and a rollout of electrification on Scotland's roads and highways. There's many other aspects of this programme for government I would like to talk about, but time limits. But let me just pick out one or two. Perhaps not spoken about in any great detail so far in this debate is a commitment to an older people's framework by March 2019. And this looks to go and maximise the contribution that our older people make across Scotland. And indeed, I recently met in my constituency of Renfrewshire South up with Roar, reaching older adults across Renfrewshire. And they do incredible work working with older people in the community, improving digital literacy, tackling loneliness and tackling isolation. So I look forward to the rollout of this older people's framework and how it will support my constituents. I also want to take this opportunity to welcome the commencement of the Carers Allowance Supplement. Sometimes in this job it can be, with the sparring and the back and forth of political debate, it can be easy to forget that the decisions we take in this place have a significant impact upon our constituents. On Monday morning, returning to my constituency office after a meeting, my staff were elated. A gentleman had come to my constituency office to see me. He was disappointed that I wasn't in, but he wanted to relay a message. The previous week, he had read in the Johnston Gazette a press release that I put out announcing the Carers Allowance Supplement. He had been unaware of this, and he was absolutely ecstatic to learn that this has been commenced. It's going to make a significant impact upon his life. And of course, for this now, I'm quite happy to let him believe that I am personally responsible for that, but it is an example of the difference that policies and decisions made in this Parliament can actually make. Final point I want to highlight, and it was something that my colleague Bruce Crawford picked up upon, and that was the commitment to cover settled status fees, and also the commitment to legislate to ensure that EU citizens retain the right to vote. I think this speaks to who we are as a nation. It speaks about our values as a country, and I certainly condemn any politician from any party who would suggest that that is some cynical ploy to detract from other issues. What a miserable attitude to take. So let me conclude by saying I welcome this programme for government, and I look forward to supporting this legislative programme as it advances through Parliament in the coming year.